Hey y'all, welcome back to Wing Reviews. Come with me today as we fly 20 hours in Turkish Airlines Economy class, flying from Dubai to Dallas. Today, we are starting our journey at Dubai International Airport, the home of Emirates. And as you can see, there are so many great views of their 777s and A380s. But sadly, we are not flying Emirates today. We're taking Turkish Airlines. We're going to be flying on their A330 in the left corner right there. The first flight of the day on our mammoth 20-hour journey is going to be on their A330 up to Istanbul, and this is going to be our stopover, and we're only going to have 45 minutes between this flight and our connecting flight onto Dallas, so hopefully we can make it there on time with no issues and make it on that flight. As we round the corner here, we can get a first glance at our plane that will be taking us to Istanbul today. Welcome to Terminal 1 Concourse B. This is where our flight will be taking off from, and it is one of the older parts of the airport, as in being built in 2008, making it 17 years old. And it definitely shows its age, but there is still lots of seating and shops available to pass your time for your flight. As we board the aircraft, let's talk a little bit about it. This aircraft is registered as Tango Charlie Juliet November Lima, and it is 13 years old, definitely one of the oldest in Turkish Airlines fleet. And it has two cabins, the business class cabin in a 222 configuration, with either being angled lie flat seats or fully lie flat seats, and then also in the economy section with 242 seats. And as we board here in a second, you'll see that this is still the old Turkish Airlines cabin, and it is super old seats. And it was kind of cool to see the retroness. My first impression of the cabin was that it was very bright and colorful. It had a nice blue for all the seats, but then the headrests were either green, red, or blue, and it gave off very retro vibes. And look, we even have an Air Algeria A330 out this window, but this is not our seat. Our original seat we got was F32. It is a middle seat in the middle cabin, but after takeoff, we were able to switch seats because there was a whole empty row. But 32F is our seat for now, and this is a very standard economy seat. There's just a few things that stick out to me. One were those audio ports on the right side. I'm not sure why there's three of them. I've not really seen any of those connections on a plane before. And then also the footrest on the bottom. You don't see that in economy, and it's really nice to have that. But other than that, the wear and tear on the seat is definitely showing. Now let's get to takeoff. After takeoff, I was lucky enough to be able to switch to a window seat, seat A32, and it was a lot better than the middle seat in the middle of the plane. Shortly after that, the flight attendants came around with food carts and literally asked me, "Would you like some food?" And of course, I have to say yes. And I was handed this cheese dish, and it was pretty good. And then also a warm bread roll that was amazing. And what's also special is that Turkish Airlines gives metal cutlery for all economy passengers, and it just elevates the meal experience that much more. As I was checking out the back of the plane, I noticed that there was a stretcher installed in this last row. They had bent down a few rows of seats and installed it into the floor. And I'm really curious about what this is for. And if you know, feel free to let me know down in the comment section because I really am curious. Now, let's check out the rear lavatories on this Turkish Airlines A330. It is pretty standard. There is a flower holder on the left that doesn't have any flowers, but this bathroom is pretty clean and it has all the standard, a toilet, mirror, and then also they provide two amenities, some cologne and some lotion, which is a nice touch, especially in economy. This flight was about 75% full, so everyone had plenty of room to stretch out and do what they needed to do. The in-flight entertainment options for this flight were pretty good. The system came with this remote where you can control the whole screen from, and there was a wide selection of movies and TV programs in multiple different languages. And then it also had a nice map and some cameras of the flight that you can watch along with. Sadly, this flight is coming to an end as we come in to land at Istanbul, and as you can see, there is another Turkish Airlines A330 out there that we are going to race into landing, and you can actually see it in the landing video. With that great landing, that means our first flight is concluded and we only have one more, a 13-hour flight back to Dallas. Overall, I think this flight was pretty good. The cabin was a little outdated, but everything else was great, and I would definitely take Turkish Airlines if I was flying from Dubai to Istanbul because it is just a great option and they have multiple flights per day. There was some great plane spotting as we made our way to the gate, but we were very anxious for our next flight because we only had a 45-minute connection and we're unsure if we're actually going to be able to make it on that flight. Once we got off the flight, there was a group of people waiting for us at the end of the gate, asking if we were going to the Dallas flight. And since we followed them and they took us through the airport to another security checkpoint. And it was super cool because it was overlooking the airport and we saw all these great planes. But we had to go through security again, and we had been holding on to some water bottles we got on that flight to drink on the next one, but we had to throw those out, so that was a little too bad. But after that, they took us down to the regular side of the terminal and we went to our gate, and then we had to go through security again where they swabbed us and put it in the machine. And then after that, we were able to board our next flight. Welcome to flight number 2. This is on a 787-9 Dreamliner, one of their brand new planes, only around 3 years old, and it was definitely showing. We had to rush into the seat here because the plane was full and we were the last people to board, so it's nice that they waited for everyone. And this seat was pretty standard, but it was very modern. That pocket could hold so much stuff, and that was really nice. And then it had a single fold tray table that could slide in and out, and then also that screen was just massive and so nice. It had a whole bunch of nice USB ports and everything. And then the headrest is adjustable on both sides and could go up and down. The blanket that came with the seat was the perfect size and very comfortable. And then these headphones are top notch. Normally you don't see these in economy, and this was just a nice touch. It's time to take off and get this 13-hour flight started. Just ask for a new pair, Dad. Normally we don't see an amenity kit in economy, but it is still a very standard amenity kit with an eye mask, slippers, socks, toothbrush, toothpaste, chapstick, and some earphones. It is just a great touch to elevate the whole experience in economy. Soon, the crew came around with menus that detailed everything that would be served on this flight. For dinner, there was two options, either the meatballs or the rigatoni. And at first glance, the meatballs looked more like meat sticks, and they were kind of bland and not too hot. So it wasn't great. Definitely one of the worst meals I've had on Turkish Airlines so far because I reviewed them on the way to Dubai, and it was definitely a lot better. So feel free to check that flight out, and I'll link it in the top corner. Also, something that was very frustrating was that the crew locked the windows for basically the whole flight, so it was very difficult to see out of. For this Lou review, I went to the middle lavatory in between the business and economy section, and this one was a little nicer. It still had all of your standard toilet and baby change table, but it also had the cream, perfume, and an accent bottle right there. And then also this weird thing in the corner was a cologne, which is nice. And then one more thing, this bathroom had a pedal for the waste bin, and that was really cool. The onboard entertainment in this plane was top notch. The screen was brand new and was super fast. There were so many movies and TV shows on multiple different languages. It also had live TV and a flight map, and it had lots of useful information. There was also these nice cameras that actually worked, and they were actually pretty good quality. Look at this downward one. You can perfectly see that iceberg right there. Also, one thing I noticed was that they had this camera on the top of the screen. Not sure what they're using that for, but a little suspicious. They did offer Wi-Fi on this flight for a fee, and I would say that it was pretty expensive, but that is up for you to judge. During a large portion of this flight, a lot of the passengers were standing up and walking around the cabin, and I don't blame them because it was a 13-hour flight. It's just not normal to see. Shortly before landing, the last meal was served, and it was a homemade ganache with fried eggplants and Parmesan tomato sauce, and it really was not my kind of thing, but the bread was still really good. It was very cloudy and rainy coming into Dallas, so enjoy these nice cloud views. Overall, this flight was pretty good. The only problem I had was it was 13 hours and it was really starting to get to me. Like I was ready to get off the plane. But other than that, Turkish Airlines did an amazing job and I would definitely fly with them again, especially since their economy class is such an elevated experience with the amenity kits, the nice headphones, the nice new planes, and it was really good overall. Thank you so much for coming along with me as we spend 20 hours in Turkish Airlines Economy, and feel free to hit that subscribe button and check out any other content on my YouTube channel. It would definitely help me out. Have a great day, guys.